Hi, I'm Haley and welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited because today we are testing all the new makeup. We are pitting some products up against each other to see how they stack up. I have the new Anastasia foundation. I'm doing a wear test for that, so we're gonna see how this look turns out at the end of today, along with the impeccable setting spray they came out with. I also have the original e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder in the original loose powder formula, as well as the new press powder version. So we're gonna see which side of my face looks better and wears better throughout the day. So super excited about that. Fun to play with two versions of what is ostensibly the same product, but we will see. And then I have two new mascaras. So I have the new Gucci mascara as well as the new Haus Labs mascara. So we're gonna see what the differences are in the way these two mascaras look on the eye. And then I also have the new Colourpop New Moon eyeshadow palette, the next Twilight collab that they came out with. So we're gonna play around with this. We came up with this look. You'll see my thoughts on this palette so far. A couple of these things are first impressions. So first impressions on the palette, first impressions on the foundation and the setting spray, and then everything else I have tried at least once. And then last up, I have this MAC Bring Back, the Shanghai Spice Cream Sheen lipstick, which I am absolutely loving so far, spoiler alert. So if you'd like to see how I achieve this look and hear some thoughts on some of these brand new products, as well as see the results of my wear test at the end of this video, keep on watching. Okay, let's get on into it. I'm starting off with basically clean, bare skin. I just have moisturizer on and no primer today since we're gonna do a full wear test. And I'm gonna start off with the Anastasia foundation. So this is the Impeccable Blurring Second Skin Matte Foundation, which sounds super promising to me. I picked up the second lightest shade, which is 1N. I was really going back and forth between the lightest and the second lightest neutral shades, and I kind of wish I'd gone with the lightest. Normally I am the lightest shade in a lot of foundations, but something about the actual like swatch or product color on the Anastasia website made me think I should go with the second lightest, even though the model on the lightest was closer to me. So we'll see. Again, I kind of feel like this might be a little too dark, but we're going to play around with this and see what it looks like. I'm going to try and do a wear test as long as I can. It is about 1 p.m. right now, getting a kind of a late start to the day, just because, you know, it's a Sunday. What can I say? But we'll see. I'm gonna check in later tonight and see how this is looking, see if it stayed matte, see if it's breaking up on the skin, anything like that. I actually got this brush as a gift with purchase when I purchased the setting spray and the foundation from the Anastasia website. So I'm gonna go ahead and test this out. Ooh, this blends out really nicely. I feel like it's not streaky with the brush at all. I really like the way that blends out. And it's very full coverage. So it's, to me, whoa, very full coverage. I don't know if you could see like how quickly just the foundation covered my dark circles right there, but that's a really nice level of coverage. I think the shade is actually okay. It's looking nice. It's darker than a lot of foundations that I normally wear. And as you can see right here, it's looking too dark around like my temple and compared to my ear. So we may have to blend it down my neck a little bit. But I think for the summer, this could be a really good match. But yeah, if you're my skin tone or lighter, definitely go with the lightest shade, I would say. But so far I'm liking this. It's blending out really, really nicely in my opinion. Like that was just one coat. The undertone is very warm, I feel like. So this was billed as a neutral undertone 1N, and I feel like this is very, very warm. Just compared to my skin tone. So I feel like I'm pretty much a neutral warm. So if something looks warm on me, I feel like it's quite warm. So I feel like it looks really nice on camera. I'm gonna blend this down my neck just because I feel like it's looking super, super warm and a little dark on me. Oh my gosh. this might be kind of crazy looking, but I really like the coverage level. That was so nice, like a really nice level of coverage with just like one coat, no concealer yet. Really like the way it covered up my dark circles, like without me having to do anything extra. I think it looks really nice. It is settling a little bit into some fine lines around my eyes, but I feel like for a matte foundation that's kind of natural, just trying to blend in some spots and make sure it looks as flawless as possible. Yeah, but yeah, I feel like it's too dark right here. Definitely could have done with the lightest shade for sure, but we'll see. I'm gonna like wear this throughout the day, kind of look at it in some more natural lighting in the mirror, things like that, and see if I'm okay with this shade and then report back. Regarding the level of matte, I don't really think it's that matte. To me, it's more of a satin. So it's still like a little bit reflective on the skin. I don't know if you can see that there, but I feel like it's not quite as matte as it was billed. It feels pretty nice in the skin. It's not sticky, but it's not really silky or particularly like featherweight, sinks in super light, doesn't feel like anything like some foundations. Like I feel like the Estee Lauder Double Wear just feels like nothing on the skin in a really, really nice way. It is kind of like creamy when I touch it. So I wouldn't say like, as for somebody with sensory issues, this isn't the worst by any means, but it's also not the best. I really, really hate foundations that feel ultra sticky. So far I think this is fine. Like the color again is not my ideal shade, but I think we can work with this. I actually feel like it looks a little better on camera. I may rewatch this back later and be like, no girl, you look horrible, but we shall see. And from afar, I feel like it looks kind of better. Plus like blending it down, I feel like that's helping, but so far I love the level of coverage. It is not light coverage by any means. This is definitely medium to high coverage for sure. So if you're looking for a high coverage satin foundation, this could be one to check out. So far I really like it. This is again a first impression of this product. I have not tried it yet, but we're gonna go in with some concealer and finish up the base. Yeah, I feel like I look really tan, but maybe this will be good when I self-tan later this year. I'm also gonna go in with the Magic Touch Concealer from Anastasia in the shade 2. They sent this as a gift with purchase as well, so I just wanna try it out. I don't think this is new, but it is new to me. I'm not gonna do too much. Just a little bit around the eyes. Ooh, see, you can see how light this is. I'm not gonna do too much concealing around the rest of the face because it's gonna look crazy. So I'm a little bit confused about Anastasia's shades because this is the shade 2 and the foundation was the shade 1. So I feel like that's kind of confusing. So if you already know your shade in other Anastasia base products, like I don't think that they correspond to each other. But I think this is nice so far. It's definitely helping to brighten up. Let's see if we can bring it down a little bit to brighten up the foundation a little bit. But so far I like that it is on the heavier side, but I'm loving the way the base looks in terms of like light, medium, heavy coverage. I feel like this is a really good coverage level for like photography, stage, like anytime you want to have that higher coverage, I feel like this would be a good choice. The concealer, I think it's good so far. I also really am enjoying this brush, by the way. It's, I know they sell these like separately from gift with purchase, but I thought this was really nice. It's very soft. It's a little small, but I feel like it was really nice for blending out this foundation. So really enjoying the brush so far. Okay, and then next up, I'm excited to compare two products, one that I've loved for a long time and one is a new version of that product, and then that is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder. So right here, I have the original Halo Glow setting powder. This is a loose powder in the shade Light, and then I have their new Halo Glow pressed powder in the shade Light Neutral. So first of all, like I've used the pressed powder a couple times so far. I feel like it's not quite getting hard pan, but it is showing some of the oils from the brush and from my face already, and I've just used this a couple of times. Second thing I want to note is I feel like these shades are just totally different from each other. So I'll show you in the B-roll, but this one, it feels so much darker and so much pinker than the loose powder, which feels a lot lighter and a lot more neutral, and they're both in the shade light. So like I said, the loose powder is in the shade light, and then the pressed powder is in light neutral. Again, this says it's neutral, but it feels very, very pink to me. So we're gonna go and do one side of the face with one and one side of the face with the other and see how they wear. I'm gonna go in with the original on this side of my face right here, and we are going to compare each side, see how they wear throughout the day, everything like that. So I'm just picking, I'm gonna use 2 different brushes so I don't like cross-contaminate, so to speak, but I'm picking up the loose powder on this e.l.f. blush brush right here, which I actually love to use for powder. Ooh, I really like how the original one looks on top of the Anastasia foundation. I really think it's helping to tie in that, you know, not quite shade match together and make it look a little more natural on the skin. It's definitely helping to mattify. Ooh, that's really pretty. I do think you can see some texture right here. You can see some acne scarring and things like that. But overall, I think this is really nice. I think it would be really pretty, like I said, for photos or anytime you want a higher coverage. So this is the side with the original loose e.l.f. powder, and then we're gonna go ahead and powder the other side of my face with the new pressed powder. So I'm also gonna use a brush for the other side. I'm just gonna go ahead with this Sephora brush. It's a different brush, but I think it'll give a similar effect. And I can already tell that this one is kind of more pink than the other side. It is a very, very subtle difference. But I actually feel like this side looks a little more flawless than the other side. So it looks, to me, a little more pink. It's not quite as light. It's definitely darker than the original side, which is interesting because they do, like I said, purport to be the same shade. But I think this side is actually matter. So this one kind of, I feel like shows up a little matter on the skin. Let's see if I can add a little more coverage to the other side and matte, like get it to be a little more matte so we can match them up a little bit. So again, you can see some texture down here. So far, I like the finish a little better on the side with the pressed powder, but I like the shade better on the side with the loose powder. So definitely not like best of both worlds like I thought it might be. Again, I think the shade is very odd. For a light neutral shade, this looks like a pink powder to me, and especially when comparing it with the original, it just feels very off. So I think that's kind of weird. I just want to call that out for anybody who, you know, uses this and this is a good shade match for them. The pressed powder might be kind of odd. For me, pressed powders that work really well are the lightest shade of the Charlotte Tilbury powder. That one is light and I feel like is closer in shade to this one than the e.l.f. pressed powder. So just wanted to point that out. But I think the base looks all right. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with blush and bronzer. I don't have any new blushes and bronzers to test. So I'm just gonna go in with my REM Beauty Send to Voicemail and Sun Pop blush and bronzer. I actually think the base looks nice, even though the shade isn't my ideal shade. You know, I feel like I look like I got some color. So it is kind of uneven right here. I just want to call that out. Definitely aware of that, but I think it's wearable and workable, at least at this point in time. And then before we get into eyes, I'm going to go ahead and go in with the Anastasia Impeccable Setting Spray. I just picked up the mini of this one when I purchased the foundation, and I'm excited to see how this one wears. I have not tried this one either yet, but I like the sprayer when I tested it out. Ooh, it's a really nice sprayer. It smells kind of, not medicinal, but like aloe or sunscreen or something like that. It definitely doesn't have like a scent added as far as I can tell. Yeah, I don't think that it has, it does have fragrance in it. It's pretty far down the list, but it does have a ton of alcohol. Second ingredient after water is denatured alcohol. So sensitive skin girlies may want to beware on this one. It feels fine on my skin. I feel like it looks nice. We'll see how it wears throughout the day. I'm happy with my base right now, like I said. So we're gonna go ahead and go into eyes. So I'm super excited. I picked up the Colourpop Twilight New Moon palette, and I passed on the original Twilight Colourpop palette because it just wasn't my color story, but the New Moon palette definitely is. This is gorgeous. I love these beautiful bronzy tones, coppers, yellows. This is so me. I am obsessed with this color story. So I'm excited to get get into this. This is my first time trying it, but after swatching it, it does appear to be super similar to the Colourpop formula that is the formula that they're using right now. One thing I want to note about this, so I opened this up and I was like, wow, some of these shades really remind me of some shades in some other recent Colourpop collab palettes. So I don't think they're reusing shades per se, but I do want to point that out in case you already have some of these collabs. So the first one that I thought was kind of similar was the Colourpop and Stranger Things palette. So in my swatches comparing the two, the New Moon palette will be on the left side, and then the colors that I'm comparing it to from other palettes will be on the right side. But in the Stranger Things palette, I noticed that the shade Hawkins right here is quite similar to the shade Bloodsuckers. And there's a few other similar shades, and you can see the color stories are pretty similar with the reds and yellows and bronzy colors. So if those are the colors that you really like, but you already have this one, I may even say give this a pass. I feel like there are a few that are very close dupes. So I just wanted to point that out in case it affects anyone's like purchasing. I also felt like it was kind of similar to the Golden Hour palette. So there are a few shades that are very similar here. Those beautiful bronzy and red undertoned bronzy colors here feel very similar. Again, in these swatches, the New Moon palette is on the left and the Golden Hour palette is on the right. Definitely a couple colors that feel very alike. So LA Sunset versus Face Punch here feel really like, as well as a couple of the mattes. And I even found a few similar shades in a couple other Colourpop palettes, like the Rock On palette. As you can see, it's not totally similar. The undertones are a lot redder in the Rock On palette, but there are definitely some similarities here. So again, if you have the Rock On palette, you know, just something to consider, you know, if you're trying to find a reason not to buy the New Moon palette and you already have some of these palettes in your collection. And then last up, even the Welcome Foolish Mortals palette, the Haunted Mansion palette that came out, has a couple of similar shades right here, like in the matte, and even this The Bride versus Mood Control, this beautiful I would say butter colored shimmer shade, inner corner shade. They have different undertones, but they are quite similar in the finish. So just wanted to point that out again. If you're somebody who buys Colourpop a lot, that might be something that you want to pay attention to. Again, if you're maybe trying to buy less, trying to avoid dupes in your collection, things like that, there are a lot of very similar shades in this palette to other Colourpop palettes. All that being said, I do really enjoy this color story. I think it's gorgeous. I love yellows. I love these beautiful browns, bronzy shades, coppery shades. That is so me. And when I see this color story, I feel super inspired to create looks. I feel like I immediately see so many looks that could easily come together in this palette. And as somebody who doesn't really like to go into multiple palettes just to create one look, I like having it all in one place. I really like this. I think it's a very cohesive. I feel like it goes great with the theme, and I'm super excited to have picked this one up. Okay, so that was a lot of chatter, but I'm gonna go in and do an actual look right now. So I'm really excited about this. I'm gonna go ahead and go into Senior Year. This beautiful matte shade right here is kind of an ochre shade. Really love this color. Just putting this on a Profusion pointed crease eyeshadow brush. And so far, this is blending out so nicely. I absolutely love this color. Ooh, that is so pretty. I'm so happy with that. Then I'm gonna go in on this with this shade, Your Everything, this matte brown shade, and deepen up the inner corner with a Sephora Pro Crease 24, or the outer corner rather. This shade, I noticed when I was swatching, some of the mattes here are a little bit streaky. They did not swatch very well, but they appear to be going on the eye pretty well. So as long as I can kind of lay down color in a way that looks good, you know, straight on, I don't have an issue with it. So far, I feel like this looks great. I'm really happy with this palette. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go in with Trade Secrets right here, which is again a kind of an ochre colored. This is more of a satin, but this is a Sephora Pro Shadow 10. And just picking some of this color up right here and going in the middle of the lid. This is not super shimmery as you can see, but it is a beautiful color. I'm super, super happy with this one. And then we're gonna lay down some shimmer on top of that. So this shade Alice right here, it is a little bit of a brighter yellow. I'm just gonna use the other side of this same brush and go in on the inner third of the lid using this other, it's again kind of a satin. This one isn't sticking as well to the eye. I feel like I thought it would brighten it up a little more. This shade is not looking as good as the other ones. As you can see, it's like kind of flaky and not looking great right there. Let's see if I can fix this up with my finger. So this shade Alice, I feel like that one is a little bit of a dud. Not happy with that shade. Let's see if I can fix it up by going back in with Trade Secrets. Okay, I feel like that stuck to the eye in kind of an odd way, but let's see if we can kind of fix this up a little bit. Okay, I had to stop and charge my camera battery for a sec, so apologies if the framing now looks differently. I don't know how I'm feeling about this. I feel like this shade Alice right here really messed this look up. Like I feel like it kind of balled up, and I feel like a product can't apply on top of itself. That's like a bad sign. So right now I feel like it's looking a little bit Halloween-y. I'm going to go in with this Sigma detailed blending brush and the shade Adrenaline here, which is one of the pressed glitters, and see if I can layer this over, kind of save this look a little bit. It's very, very piecey. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this yet, but it's pretty so far. What do we think? Is it too Halloween? Actually, I feel like this would have been a good Halloween palette because of, you know, the whole werewolf thing. I do like this brush for picking up these Colourpop pressed glitters. It's interesting because it's really easy to hit pan in these. As you can see, I kind of already have a little bit of a dip just from applying that. And I do feel like I'm definitely getting some fallout from that, but I think that's really pretty. I do like that shade right there, Adrenaline. Okay, I'm gonna go in, let's see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a little more of a Senior Year, that matte kind of ochre shade, and kind of blend out the top. And then I'm going to go in with Mood Control, that really like kind of buttery colored shimmer right there, and see if we can go in and do some in the inner corner. It's not picking up very well on this brush. So this is just a, this is a Japanese brush. This is pretty actually. It did pick up better than I thought. I'm gonna see if I can bring it in here and like tie it up to the inner third of the lid right there. I like that. It's very yellowy, so I feel like it's going well with kind of the orange that I have here. Is that too bright? I like it. Let's see. What do I think about this look as a whole? So I feel like some of the shades did not work so well. So this shade right here, Alice, like I was saying, I think that shade is a dud, at least on my palette. And then Your Everything right here, I feel like it blended out with a really black base, so it looks kind of like Halloween-ish on the eyes, which is not what I was going for. But I think it's nice. I like the look as a whole. I think it's pretty, and I feel like this pressed glitter shade Adrenaline right here, I feel like it really did a lot of heavy lifting to tie this look together. But I did like this kind of ochre shade Senior Year right here. I'm gonna play around with this more. Obviously, this is just a first impression, but yeah, we'll see. I felt like there were some varying shades of varying quality in this one. So like I said, I'm going to keep playing with this, but so far I love the color story, and I think some of the shades are better than others, and ultimately I do like the look that I came up with, even though again I feel like it's a little bit Halloween coded. So I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. I'm just using my Anastasia brow pencil and my e.l.f. brow glue. I'm going to go in and compare the two mascaras that I picked up. I'm super excited. So I have the new Gucci mascara and then the new Haus Labs mascara. These are so different from each other. I've tried these both. The Gucci one is very, very volumizing, and the Haus Labs one is very lengthening. So we're going to do one in each eye. Might look kind of crazy, but I'm not up to much today, so it's all good. I'm just gonna insert some footage of the differences in the brush on these, and you can see up close kind of what the brushes looked like. The Gucci brush is an interesting shape. It is a rubber bristled brush that is very rounded on one side and then very flat on the other side. Kind of interesting there. It's definitely a firmer bristled brush. And then the Haus is more of a traditional brush with an hourglass shape. So like I said, the Haus Labs I found to be very lengthening and a little bit more minimalistic. Took a little bit more building up to get more of a bold look. And then the Gucci one was instantly bold. It is instantly super impactful. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the Gucci one on this side and show you what it looks like. So this is like one coat and I feel like we're good to go. I'm going to comb it through a little bit so it's a little bit more even. But if you like a super like chunky lash, this might be one for you. I found it to be like on the border of a little bit too impactful, but I love how quickly you can get a really bold look. You don't have to sit there like wiggling, working in product, building it up. This is instantly like a very like sort of like when you see those super editorial like really spider lash looks, this can get you there for sure. I love how bold it immediately looks. It's a little bit clumpy, so I'm gonna see if I can show you the level of clump that we're dealing with right here. But I like it. I think this is a really, really nice. I liked how it wore as well. We're going to, again, do one on each side so we can see how it looks when we do check in for the wear test for the base. But I did really, really like the Gucci one. Like I said, it's clumpy, but I think it's kind of chic. So it's up to you if you think clumpy but chic is worth Gucci money, but I am enjoying it so far. And then on the Haus Labs, it is a lot more subtle. So this is one coat of the Haus Labs. It is very much barely there. Good for a no makeup look, but I'm going to try and build it up a little bit. And I felt like this one was very nicely lengthening on me. Also gave me some pretty good curl. So on the Haus Labs side, you can see that it gave me some really nice lift and curl compared to the Gucci side. And you can see that it's really lengthening. So just want to show you again, Gucci right here, a little clumpy but very bold look, and then Haus Labs here, very lifted and lengthened. So I do like this one. You can definitely tell a difference on each side. I'm gonna leave it like this, even though there's an obvious difference, just so we can finish up our wear test on these. But so far I'm liking both of these. Do I think they're worth the money? Again, that's up to you. The Haus Labs was definitely more affordable than the Gucci, but they're both, you know, high priced. And then last up, I'm going to throw on some of this MAC Cream Sheen lipstick in Shanghai Spice. This is one of the shades that they brought back for the Christmas season, and I freaking love the packaging on this. It's so cute, and I also really, really love the shade and the finish. It is a early, beautiful, peachy shade that is a little glossy and super easy to wear. I love the way this lipstick looks. I think it is so, so pretty. I'm so happy to have picked it up. I did pick up the lip kits and the lip gloss from the New Moon collection, but I felt like they looked so bad on me. So the red one was better, but the sort of brown one was just not flattering on me at all. And then the lip gloss was like not like the swatches. It was very, very sheer. It's a pretty lip gloss, but I don't feel like any of those would have gone with this look very well. So if there's any interest in me like doing full lip swatches of any of those, let me know down in the comments. But I felt like this MAC looked so much better with this look. I love a more like, you know, lighter, glossier lip, especially with my coloring. I just feel like it's more flattering on me, especially with this eye look. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how this all came together. I feel like it's kind of odd because I have this really cool toned yellow and then kind of a more warm toned eye and then more of a peachy lip and then like peachy nails right now. So I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place, but I do like the base. I do like the eyeshadow look with some caveats on both. I feel like this is not quite the right shade for me despite it being 1N. I feel like I should have gone with 0N. And then, like I said, with the eyeshadow palette, I felt like some of the shades were way differing in quality than the others, but I really have been enjoying and really like the mascaras and the lipstick. So I will check in with you guys at the end of the day around like 10 p.m., something like that, and see how this is all holding up. I'm super curious to see how the Anastasia will look at the end of the day. Right now, I don't think it's super matte like it was billed, but I do think it's a very pretty satin base and finish. So I'm happy with how it went on. I'm happy with it so far. Again, the shade, it's tough buying makeup online, but yeah, that's all I have for right now. Again, I will be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. It is 10:20, so it's been a little bit over 9 hours since I first applied this makeup. And I can definitely see a difference in the sides based off of the different powder that I used. So this side, which had the Gucci mascara and the original powder, versus this side that had the Haus mascara and the new pressed powder, looks a bit different. So the original loose powder side is definitely way glowier than the side with the pressed powder. So I thought that was super interesting. I can definitely notice a marked difference on either side. I don't really think it has to do with the amount of powder that I picked up, because if you remember, I actually went back in and added more powder to the side with the loose powder just to make it look more even, because even when I originally put it on, I felt like there was a difference in how matte my face looked. But otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how this foundation held up. Just gonna kind of give you a closer look. You can see that, you know, it has been on my skin for 9 hours, but I think given that it looks all right, like I think if I touched it up with some powder right now, I could even pull this look back together, but I feel like we held in there. It's looking all right. It didn't oxidize or anything like that. It didn't break up on the skin. It's not ultra matte all day, but you know, that's really fairly impossible, but I think it looks pretty good, especially on this side. So even though I had my doubts about the e.l.f. pressed powder based off of the shade, I feel like it holds up through the day really well. So if you're looking for a more matte look, I definitely would go with the e.l.f. Halo Glow pressed powder version, and I also think it'd be great for touch-ups for that reason. So I'm really happy with this side of my face. And then with regards to the mascara, I feel like they both look pretty good. They held up pretty well. There's a slight smudging underneath, but no raccoon eyes, nothing major, and that's a huge win for me for both of the mascaras. No flaking or anything like that. A lot of times some mascaras will instantly smudge on me and just become unusable for that reason. So I'm really happy with the wear on both of these. So, and as you can see, the Haus Lab side, I had noted that it kind of curled and lifted the lashes, and I feel like they really stayed lifted throughout the day. So that is awesome. Really happy with both of these mascaras. I feel like the eye look looks okay as well. You know, it faded a little bit, but it gives it kind of a lived-in look that I am not hating. I did reapply the lipstick twice throughout the day and right before coming back on camera, because of course it's a glossy, like sheerish lip color. So obviously it's not gonna last throughout the day, but I am super happy with it. I think it's a super comfortable formula that I feel like wears great. It doesn't wear off in an uneven or odd looking way or anything like that. So all in all, I'm happy with the look and how it looks after 9 hours of wear. I think that's pretty good. I've definitely experienced worse. So no, like I said, no breaking up on the skin or anything totally egregious or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the base at least a like a check of approval. Obviously I want to play around with everything a bit more because some of these were just first impressions, but so far I'm happy. I would definitely like to maybe try the foundation in the lightest shade, maybe just at least go in the store and swatch and see what it looks like if it's that much lighter, because like I said, I felt like this was a little dark for me and I still do, but I think it's workable. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. If you have stuck with me to the very end of this video, I really appreciate it. As always, thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.